Oh, I'll tell you what, there's no case to answer. Take a look at that. No shots on goal in the 90 minutes for Chelsea, who still sit somehow fourth in the Premier League, which actually I think is a bit of an indictment on the quality of the league this season compared to the quality that Chelsea have brought to the table this campaign. For more on this, let's welcome in, shall we, Frank Leboeuf and Don Hutchison. Don, let's start with you. How bad were Chelsea today?
They were awful, just as worse, just as bad as Shaka's analysis on that foul on Colwill. Deary me, Shaq, you've gone soft. No,
that's a foul, Don. It's a foul.
It wasn't, Shaq. I tell you what I don't like about Chelsea, tactically, when they haven't got the ball. Maresca's obsessed with man-to-man marking all over the pitch. And you see, all Verbruggen had to do was play a long ball. It was a brilliant goal from Matoma, by the way, outstanding. But when they haven't got the ball, Chelsea, they are obsessed with stepping onto players where Brighton just played in their system. They got back in their shape when they didn't have the ball. Nkunku was very disappointing. Jackson was out injured, so I'm thinking, right, time for Nkunku to step up to the plate because Chelsea have carried him for the last 18 months. I know he's had a bad injury at the start, but he's just not performed. Even Cole Palmer was quiet. To be honest, Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo got bullied in midfield by Carlos Baleba, who cost about 23 million quid. And that was £200 million worth in that Chelsea midfield. So I thought Brighton were outstanding tonight, but Chelsea were really, really poor.
Frank, what's all that noise? What's going on?
Nothing. I moved my table because I had to go forward, so I'm very sorry. I mean, I'm talking about the live show that what you have to adjust at some point. You know, which Chelsea should have done, adjusting. They didn't adjust anything today.
There it is.
You know... And, you know, I was dancing with the Star in another channel today. I almost changed to watch myself because, you know, it was much better than Chelsea playing football, but whatever.
How did you get that in? Did you win the World Cup as well at some stage, Frank?
I don't remember. I think yes. Yeah, I don't remember. No, but really, to be serious, I mean, when people think that Chelsea is capable of doing something amazing during the season, we all know that at a certain point they can do the worst, and that's what we saw today, where I saw a team who gave up after the second goal, who didn't want to fight, who had no ideas what to do, and let that game go, and let's see what's going to happen. You don't see a team who try to fight for the first 4 spots in the Champions League giving up like that. That's not part of the character that you have to have, and that's what they don't have. Maybe because they're too young, maybe because they're inexperienced. They maybe have some excuses to put on, but really that was so bad and so at some point unprofessional what I saw.
Everyone was bad again. Like Nkunku, you didn't even know he was on the pitch. Cole Palmer out at Shaka. You look at everyone on that pitch, and every single individual is getting worse by the week.
And that's a concern. Now, first of all, it's hard to overstate how poor Chelsea were on the day. It really is. But then you're looking for some kind of leadership, somebody who maybe could change things around. Maybe if the Enzo Fernandez goal had stood, we're having a different discussion. But there was nothing following that suggested that Chelsea would have gotten any better, that Chelsea would have put up a fight. And for as expensively assembled this team is, for all the praise that we've put at Esko Maresca's doorstep in the first half of the season, his inability to arrest this slide is every bit as alarming. Chelsea have won 2 league games in the last 2 months, dating back to December 15th, West Ham and Wolves. That's some indictment to Chelsea's form of late. And while we're looking around, and to your point, Chelsea's still fourth in the table, and you're looking around the league and looking for teams, anybody to put together any kind of a run, just nobody seems to be able to. But at the same time, while you can take some inconsistencies, Chelsea has been fairly consistent over the last 2 months. And this is a concern. This is a concern given everything that we've seen and said about them all season long.
What's interesting, Don, is the fact that this has been happening, as Shaka said, over the last 2 months. And it seems that Maresca can't find an answer. And you can't really see where he's looking for it either.
No, it is worrying. Like, you do read the body language and you do read into what managers tell you. Do you remember a couple of months ago when he got asked if he was in the title race? He was saying, no, we're not in the title race. Well, they were at the time. So whether that was whether that, as Frank said and Shaka said, with it being an immature group, maybe they read too and listen too much into the coach. But you're right, his in-game tactics where he's not got the ability to change things. I mean, Frank would be disgusted at this point in the season. Only 3 clean sheets Chelsea have had this season. So they're not a side that do clean sheets. So straight away, you put a lot of pressure on your forwards getting goals. They are a young side, but I do look at Maresca and I think, right, can you change something in-game? Can you change your system? Can you try and grind for 20 minutes, as Frank said there, when you're 1-0 down, instead of just then collapsing and going 2 and 3 down? Because we've seen this before, and it's what they do. So they're sitting in a healthy position in 4th. Forest have got some really hard fixtures. Man City behind them, by the way. Their next 6 fixtures are awful, so they've got a massive game against Newcastle. So if they can arrest the sort of slide and start getting some clean sheets and being more mature and finding some character, there's still a bit of ability in this side, but I wouldn't trust them.
That's the thing, and this is what Maresca had to say. He was asked the fans about the expectations between now and the end of the season. This is what he had to say, and this wasn't received particularly well by Chelsea supporters either. A defeatist tone, to say the least. They are 100% fair and correct. I grew up watching Chelsea winning games and competitions, but this Chelsea is not the same as that one. We are not ready to compete in 4 competitions in one season in this moment. How about competing in one, Frank? Because at the moment, they don't know they compete against anyone.
That's true, but he's right. I mean, he's only being fair to the fan too. I mean, that's obvious. Some people got carried away at the beginning of the season. Well, maybe before November, December, thinking that, as Don said, they were in the title race. Yeah, maybe they were, but I never thought that. And I was like Maresca, because we knew the other side of the coin is that the fact that that team is immature, that they don't know what the future can be, they don't know how to handle a future, and as soon as they lost a game, 1 game, then 2 games, and now it's only 2 games won in 2 months. It's what happens to young players who are not ready.
Isn't that giving Maresca a pass? Isn't it up to the manager to take these players, there's a lot of quality in there, and fix this?
Yeah, but you cannot cope with the defensive mistake that they are doing. I mean, the 2 goals that they conceded today, it's because of the bad pass from a defender. And what a coach can do. I mean, you're a professional football player. They can't teach you how to control and make a pass. Otherwise, you will never be a football player. So if they're not capable of doing it because they feel the pressure.
Maresca's just gone up against a Brighton side, lost 7-0 against Nottingham Forest last week, but you're saying it's not his fault, it's individual players who are immature and making the wrong decisions.
Yes, I think that, because I saw last season what happened, and without Maresca, that was the same mess. So saying that Maresca had to adjust, we saw the 2 other coaches not being able to do that. Maresca at least did something pretty good for long term, where nobody expected that. Really, everybody expected another bad season for Chelsea. Suddenly they became a big team in a title race. Again, some people got carried away. No, we just go back to who they are. Because that's what it is. That's football. There is a time to learn.
But isn't it up to the manager to make these individuals better, Frank? And they're not. Week by week, they're getting worse under his stewardship.
No, I don't think they're going worse. I think he tries to settle some stuff, but they're not capable of doing that because they're not helped by other people. We know how you have to find the chemistry with the players, by young players, but also experienced players. They don't have that. They can't copy somebody who has experience. They buy themselves. It's what they wanted to do. At least last season or 2 seasons ago, they had Thiago Silva. At least they had at some point some other players. They got rid of them. They got rid of those players, and now they are with a group of players, very young, talented, but nobody to help them out.
Do you know the one that worries me, Dan? The one that worries me, and I've watched him a lot this season, is Enzo Fernandez in midfield. Because I watch him at times, and I've got no idea where he's being asked to play. He's being asked to play from the start of games in a double pivot alongside Caicedo. The minute the game just starts going away from Chelsea, he's got this, I say ability, it's not ability, inability, to start running all over the pitch and vacating his position. he doesn't play the position very well. It's almost like he wants to be a number 10. He wants to be where Cole Palmer is, and he's not disciplined enough to sit still. So this is on the player, because he's got to recognise it, because he's a World Cup winner. He's very experienced, even though he's young. He knows the game. But this is also on the manager, because the manager is allowing him, when he watches the analysis back, I think it was the Ipswich game about a month and a half ago when they got beat 2-0, I think, and he was running all over the pitch, vacating his position, leaving Caicedo on his own. So the manager and the coaching staff, when they're doing their analysis after that game, and they'll watch him vacate that position, they can't then allow that to carry on into the game after, and the game after, and the game after. That's where that's on Maresca.
Shaka's just passed me.
I just want to add something. Sorry, Dan. You know, it's like when you raise your kids and you give limits. And it's how you educate your kids. Because they have limits, they know they can go through that. There, they don't know. Because they have nobody to tell them, and it's maybe where Maresca can be guilty for that, they don't have limits. They don't know what to do because they're not in a right frame to know exactly what they have to do. And it's what the example of Enzo Fernandez is typically what they shouldn't do. And they get carried away, they go everywhere, and they forget all the basics, and it's a big mess.
Shaka put this in as well. Look, goalkeepers with assists this season. That's the big talking point for the game.
I built my career on assists, Dan.
How many assists did you make, Shaq?
A couple.
Did you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who fit?
Did you?
Who fit long?
It wasn't a hoof, it was a precision pass, Dan.
Yeah, right.
It was a precision... I don't know what you're talking about. Picked out Les Ferdinand, perfectly in the channel, 1-0.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Go on, Frank.
Yeah, but Guy, we have to be fair. I mean, the pass, okay, that's what follows the pass is amazing. I mean, I never seen a goal like that. I have to say, I never seen a goal like that. I mean, the control that he makes and the second touch that he makes, it's pure class. I mean, only few players in the world can be able to do that. That's a masterpiece with the pace that he goes and the cleverness that he has. I don't care. The goalkeeper just kicked the ball. He made the rest.